Okay, we're just going to look at some simple drills to work from a preemptive situation when being gripped. Obviously, if you're working your fence correctly, it won't come to a gripping situation, but it can. The idea being that when you're being gripped, you try to avoid going into a grappling situation. Classically, if somebody gripped your wrist in many self-defense programs, they would go straight to a wrist lock or something grappling based. In this instance, we're going for a grab and we'll strike the pad. Okay? So. If we remember, every situation, understand it, because it's classically what will happen in a grappling situation. You will have done it back in the playground. It's a classic school bully situation, or even just playing with your friends. You'll find it when if you started grappling at a grappling class, that people will go for it, and it is a technical grappling hold. It's called the side headlock. If I just use Nicole here just for a second, okay. The side headlock comes on here. You pull the head down, the head comes straight down towards the hip. The body is positioned right in front, okay? So you've got that much, you're maximising there onto the head. Obvious vulnerabilities for a person when you're looking at it from a self-defense perspective, certainly, and also even from a normal grappling perspective, is that if the head slips out, Nicole's got my back straight away. That's classically happening all the time in grappling, and why you're seeing it less and less in submission grappling in the sport. In self-defense, you've also got areas such as the groin, okay, which is open to attack from behind, okay, and the eyes as well from the top, okay, can be grabbed, okay, classically to escape out of it. So, but from a self-defense perspective, if you find yourself in this position, that you're doing it, it just seems to be the natural way to do it, then obviously you've got a takedown that you can go to, but we're trying to avoid the ground as much as possible. If you do end up on the ground, then obviously you want to be ending up on top, and this position will help you do that. But for the time being, it's also holding your opponent in a position to be struck. It's not classically going to cause a knockout because the head's being braced, and therefore it's minimalising the amount of movement of the brain inside the head. But it's still going to cause a lot of damage. It's going to distract him more from attacking you, and again to aid your defence. If you start hitting to the head, he's going to try and start protecting his face. If he starts protecting his face, again you've got less chance of him necessarily holding on to you, and you can start moving into a position that is going to be a little bit more advantageous in order to be able to secure your escape. Okay, so the side headlock comes on, we strike, okay, in this position, okay, but we need to understand how to put it on properly, so nice and tight so it goes here, okay, and we can drill it, so we go up to go to the other side, and again. Okay, so notice as I come up, turn, around, and in between each one, Nicole's lifting his head up, so he's making me having to pull the head down again for the drill. So it comes up. Over. The next grappling manoeuvre is something we call a finger lock, although I should think it should be more termed as a finger break. So classically, someone's pointing at you, this sort of situation here, it's going to become offensive, it's going to become physical, they breach your barrier, you grab the finger, you pull down. So it's that motion there, the hand goes there and you pull it into you, like if you're cutting an arc, cutting a crescent shape with your hand. Al Kane, one of my instructors I train under in the hard target system, teaches that as revving a motorbike. Okay, it's that motorbike revving motion. So if we're doing it from a point, it's just to there. Although classically, from a self-defense perspective, the likelihood of you just doing that to somebody who's just pointing at you you could probably talk the situation down. However, if you're within a grappling situation, we're fighting here, and we've already got to a clinch level, and the fingers are there, then use it from there. Okay, and again, we look at it as a break. We can also scale this sort of technique down because it is a restraining hold, and although we're not really covering restraining holds, from a scenario which is probably more likely, you're not dealing with a psychopath, but you're dealing with a drunk Uncle Bernard at the party, this sort of hold here is going to be more preferable to hitting him full force in the head. So again, it's good as a scaling down technique. The third of the three most likely plus and efficient primal grappling moves is the strangle. So if Nicole goes on strangle or blood choke, where one arm comes all the way through, you've got a tight area there, that's all locked off on this side, your chest's in close, tight at the back, you're closing all areas there, you grab the bicep, this hand goes behind and the head's in tight here. So you close all areas off. Okay, so when it's there, what you're going to do is you're going to have a strangle response. When you're practicing it, again, you go for it very, very carefully, and as Nicole's just demonstrated there, you tap out. Okay, so the person putting the hold on you goes just until you tap.